Hello, Internet! I'm Elliot the Purple-Haired Doofus, and welcome back to House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski. First, I should apologize for yesterday's video. That chapter drove me just a tiny bit nuts. But as you see, it didn't drive me so much that I left you with too much to read for this video. Today we're covering chapters 10 and 11. So I hope you've read up to that point because I do not want to ruin anything for you. Now chapter 10 is very interesting because it is formatted in such a way that you probably have 4 or 5 lines per page, and that's about it. That's why it is nearly 100 pages long, and I can still feel that it needs to have an extra chapter tacked on to the end of it. Some of the pages even only have one word on them, and it makes it for a very quick read, even if you are following all the footnotes and all of the places that it drags you. In this chapter, we have Navidson and Reston, which are in the outside of the hallway in the regular house, and they are deciding to go in to the hallway to look for Holloway, Wax, and Jed, and Tom decides to go with them. The 3 men reach the stairway, which has been alluded to in the past is the center of this expanding hallway. Tom says, "I don't want to go down there." Navidson says, "Okay, I'll just go down alone." And Reston says, "What, you think I can't go down there just because I'm in a wheelchair?" And Navidson says, "You'll just slow me down." And he starts trekking down the stairs, and Reston actually hurls himself out of the wheelchair and starts going down the stairs, which leaves Navidson no other option than to climb back up the stairs and fetch his wheelchair. Then Sambino's writing starts getting into the psychology of the hallway, because Reston is actually starting to feel nauseous. It gets into the feeling of seasickness, even though the hallway appears stationary because it's expanding out and going in, and expanding out and going in, and expanding out and then going in. And are you getting sick yet? Because I think I am. Admittedly, in my last video, I was a little crazy. So, I decided to seek medical help, and I went to a doctor, and he gave me pills to help with my craziness. Unfortunately, those pills were very expensive. But I decided I need them. And now look at me. Me. I'm talking about the most amazing subject of all. Me. Because don't you want to learn more about me? I mean, come on. It's me we're talking about here. Me. Perfect me. Love me. Please. That's probably the one time that I will be thankful that Johnny interrupted us. Reston and Navy have been at the bottom of the stairwell for at least a day now, and they still have not met up with any of the crew, Holloway, Wax, or Jed. As they're walking through the hallway, they actually hear a human cry, and they follow the human cry to a dead end. They put their hand on the wall where the human cry is coming from, and they actually trace it around looking for some kind of entrance, and they find a doorway, but it doesn't have a doorknob. It's just got like a solid, I don't know, a solid wood panel, a solid rock panel, a solid panel of some kind that doesn't have a knob or a window or any way to open it, no button to press, nothing. They are starting to pound on that side of the door. They find out that on the other side of that wall is Wax and Jed, and those are the humans that are crying. But they only find that out after they've burst through the doorway and the people inside them start firing at them. And Reston starts firing back, and Navidson says, "Where the hell did you get a gun?" And Reston says, "Why the hell didn't you bring one? This place is dangerous." Eventually they find out that it's each other. You reach a footnote that alludes to Navidson having suicidal thoughts in the past. And it just makes me really happy that Navidson is still with us so far in the book. And it makes me really happy that all of you are still with us. And it makes me wish that other people were still with us. Anyway, we move on to chapter 11. It starts off by discussing the chemistry between Karen and her husband's twin brother Tom. It even goes so far as to say that Tom is a much better man than Navidson ever would be.
So Zampino wrote a lot of stuff about twins with this other lady, and well, I decided to talk to her, and she said, well, there's a lot of stuff written, but you know, he kind of burned it all. And I actually, found the ashes of this work, and I pieced together as much as I could and published it in the next few pages. Hope you enjoy, but if you see a long, string of Z's, that's because I couldn't find anything between those 2 points. Again, enjoy. I'm awesome. It's all about me. Me!
Thanks to Johnny's hard work, we have a collection of snippets about twins. These snippets are also intertwined with some plot points that don't really make a whole lot of sense. This whole section right here, you'll see it, you'll read a small little 2-sentence paragraph and you have a line of Z's that says, the rest of this part was missing? Yeah, this part really pissed me off because I was trying to understand what was going on, but I just couldn't. I'm sorry. Eventually this ends though, and we get to Tom's story. And what Tom's story is a collection of transcripts of his calls over the radio while he stayed stationary at the top of the stairwell. And most of them at the beginning are just bad jokes, a lot of which I heard when I was in high school. Like the pirate with the red shirt, who ends up being the pirate with the brown pants. And it alludes to the fact that Tom really doesn't want to be in that hallway anymore. He's looking for any excuse to leave.
You remember my friend Lude? Well, Lude and I, we had this kind of thing where we listed off all our conquests for the month, and well, I'm going to tell you about every woman that I've had sex with, after I tell you about every woman that Lude has had sex with. Isn't that nifty? Don't you just really need to know every single detail about that? In fact, it was so intriguing that I started hitting on this one girl. And she was going to take me back to her place. I mean, this is really gearing up to be something awesome, right? And this girl actually found a stray dog. And, well, I thought that I would take the stray dog home and I would take care of it. And she said, no, I'll take care of it. It's my dog. I am the queen of all strays. And I said, okay, fine, you take it. And she dropped me off at my place. And then she started driving off and I heard this squeal. And I heard a thud. And then I heard her wheels squeal away. And I found out that she killed the dog and threw it out of her car. Admittedly, I try and sleep with some fucked up chicks. Maybe you might want to get back to the whole hallway story thing. 'Cause wow. I don't want this to be about me anymore.
Johnny's story aside, we should get back to Tom, who is still waiting at the top of the stairwell, and we are still reading his transcripts. And we are hearing him talk to Karen, who is concerned because all of her feng shui stuff that she put up throughout the house to try and calm herself down is missing. And Tom says, well, maybe the kids took them. And she says, no, I didn't even notice they were missing until the kids said something. Until the kids asked why I took them down. So, admittedly, Karen is freaked the hell out. Then it gets to a radio transcript where Tom actually hears a firing of Reston and Navidson against Jed and Wax. And Tom says, you know what? I don't have to take this. I am out of here. And Tom tells Karen he's going to go back out of the hallway without the rest of the crew. And that's where our section ends. The question I have for you today is, what was the most difficult decision you have ever had to make? and how did it turn out? The last question that I had for you, I should have answered last video, but I didn't because I was a bastard then. What was a memorable cliffhanger for you? And for me, I just finished this show on Netflix called Taxi Brooklyn, and it's your basic police procedural, only the cop has to use a taxi driver from France to get themselves around. I thought it was really funny and really well done, and it ends on this massive cliffhanger. Every character in the entire series is in mortal danger. The cop and the taxi driver, who are both held at gunpoint. There is a cop's mother who's on this boat that just exploded. There's a taxi driver's best friend who's just been stabbed outside of an airport. And there's a taxi driver's family who has been kidnapped and held under gunpoint. And that's where the story ended. Really? Really? Anyways, I've flipped ahead just to look over the formatting of the next few chapters. Tomorrow we are covering 2 chapters, chapter 12 and 13, and it looks like I just might be able to finish this book by Friday. If not by Friday, definitely by Monday. So I thought I would alert you to the next book that I'm planning to read, if you would like to read it along with me, and that is Bad Unicorn by Chuck E. Platt. Nope. By Platt F. Clark. That's what I said. I said nothing else. I edited that last part out, right? Because I got it wrong. Platt F. Clark. Bad Unicorn. The only thing I know about this book so far is it's about a carnivorous unicorn. Yes. Doesn't that sound excellent? Go out and grab this book by any legal means necessary. Buy it at a bookstore. Grab it on Kindle. Borrow it from a friend or borrow it from a library. I don't care what you do as long as it's legal and you read along with me before I ruin it for you. I've been the purple-haired doofus reminding you to watch the Pajama Radius, and I will see you all in the next chapters of House of Leaves by this dude. Toodles!